Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Easy A Younger here, and I'm going to help you get an A for the day in animation. My whole goal is always to make your animation easy. So first today, we're going to make a table. So we're going to make it a nice, smooth, basic table, and I also will show you how to render it so you can take an image and save it for your presentation or showing it off or uploading on a social media. So a couple things we're going to go over. We're going to go over how to bevel so you guys can make the edges round like a coffee table or a kitchen table so you don't have those sharp edges. We're also going to go over how to combine it to make it one object or asset so you can take it into other animations or video games. And we're also going to go over how to color it and upload a picture of it. So I'm going to go ahead and erase it and start from scratch. So first things first, you want to start off in poly modeling. And we're going to go ahead and start with a cube. I'm going to press F to frame it. And I'm going to go ahead and squish. So first thing you got to do is scale it. So you can either select this button right here for the scale tool, or you can press R. So again, R or scale tool to squish and squash it till you get your table top that you want. Now I'm going to press W for the move tool, and I'm going to move it up. Give myself some room for the legs. I'm going to go ahead and make another cube. Now this cube I'm going to use to make the leg. So I want to thin it out. Again, I'm using the scale tool to kind of get the height and length I want for the leg. And I'm going to kind of line it up to where I want it to go on the table. Now I know when I round it, I'm going to lose some of this edge right here. So I'm going to go in a little bit further inside. Again, just preference, because I know when I go to round it later, the edges are going to pop off. So now I'm going to go over how to clone it. So if you hold shift, you're going to see where it says clone. As long as you're in the move tool, which is W, or this button right here, you hold shift and you can drag to make another one. So if I line it up to where it looks like it's the front with both legs, I can actually hold shift and select both these legs now, and then hold shift again and drag. So again, you just hold shift and drag it to where you want to let go. You let go of it, hold shift and select both, and then let go. Hold shift and drag. So now I have 4 legs of equal size. So now let's go ahead and round these edges. So to do that, I need to go to what's called edge mode. So right now we're in object mode that lets you control the whole object. We need to go to edge mode so I can select these edges. So I'm going to right click and hold, which gives us our options. We're going to go to edge mode. So again, right click and hold, edge mode. So if I hold shift and select that, hold shift, select that, hold shift and select that, and hold shift and select that. So what I'm doing is I'm rotating my camera and selecting all 4 edges. You don't have to hold shift the whole time you move, but you do have to hold it before you click the button. So if I click on this and I hold shift and select this one, it will select both. Hold shift, select it, hold shift, select it. You also can deselect that way too. So I have all 4 edges selected for me to do what it's called beveling, to round it off. So I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to go up to Edit Mesh. And you're going to see right here where it says Bevel. You can also click Control B if you're really good at hotkeys. So either bevel by going to Edit Mesh or Control B. And now you guys can see, like I said, I lost a little bit of edges here when I did that, but I'm going to round it out, so I think we're going to be fine. So first things first, if you just hover over fraction, you can drag left to right to make it more fractions. And then I can drag left to right over segments to round it out too. So just depending on how rounded I want my table to be, I can adjust that by the segments and the fractions. So I'm pretty happy with that right there. So with this, I'm going to color all one color. So since I'm going to color all one color, I can make it one object first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and hold and go back to object mode. Like I said, object mode lets you control the objects. I'm going to drag and select both of these, like all the parts. So again, drag and select all the objects. I'm going to go up to mesh, combine. So again, mesh, combine. And you guys can see it created a new shape, but it still kept the old ones. So we got to delete history. It's this blue clock with an X. What that did is it eliminated all the old shapes because I don't need them anymore separated. Let's go ahead and name the table to be safe. Again, when you're making assets for video games or cartoon animation, you need to name them so that if someone else is working on it, they know what it is inside the outliner. So this one now is named table. So I am going to go ahead and color this now. So I'm going to right click and hold. Same thing for your options, but this time I'm going to come down to assign new material, new material. So again, assign new material, new material. Now, I suggest clicking on favorites, and I always say use Lambert and Blend. They transfer over into game engines. They transfer over to almost any program if you export these. So these are just the basic textures inside of Maya that they've been around since the beginning of the program. So I'm going to start off with Lambert because I don't want it to be shiny. If I want it to be really, really shiny, you guys can use Blend. So I'm going to click Lambert. Again, always name everything you guys can. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to name this brown. That's what color I'm going to make this. Again, this is also right here where you guys want to make sure add as attribute editor. It should automatically be open when you do it in Maya, but just in case it's not, you want to click on the attribute editor. So I'm going to go ahead and name it brown, like I said, and then I'm going to click on this color box. Now, you do have to start off with a color before you can make another color. So I'm going to click yellow. And then now that I've made a color, I can drag along this color wheel and I can start going towards orange. To get it brown, you actually need to do orange because it's technically a shade tint of orange is brown. So once you guys get it locked into about the orange you want, you can drag the shade and the tint down until you get the brown color you want. So I'm pretty good with that brown right there. So this is good now. You can export this into a video game. You can export this into another project. You can give it to other people who work in animation, whatever you want to use this for. But I want to take a picture of this now. I want to render it out so I can see what it looks like. So I do want to put something underneath it because otherwise it's going to look like it's floating in outer space. So you guys can either use a square or a circle image plane. They call them polydisc or a polyplane. I'm going to go ahead and use the polydisc. So that way it kind of looks like carpet. I'm going to go ahead and press R for scale again, or again, you can click this button right here. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this, make it a little bit bigger. Now, again, it came in underneath my table, so I can do one or two things. I can move the carpet, or I can move the table. It doesn't really matter which one I move. Just make sure you're not stabbing through it. And I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this. So to render this, we do need a light. So we're going to click on Arnold. That's going to be our rendering system we're going to use for this one. And we're going to come over here to the sky dome. Sky domes are really great for showing off models. So again, Arnold shelf. We're going to click on this. And now you're going to see a globe that's around it. And what's cool about Arnold, it even has the rendering play button right here. So you can press this play button and it will pop up a recording screen. And what's cool about the screen too is whenever you make adjustments, since it's a play live, it'll show you what it's going on inside the render. Now, if your computer is a little bit older, you might want to be careful of this because it could slow down your computer. So like I always tell my students, I want to make sure you get a nice picture. It looks like I'm inside a video game or cartoon. I want to feel like I'm inside that. So I want to make sure I get a nice zoomed in image to show off my model. And once you like the image that you're going to do, you're just going to come to File, Save Image, and you want to just make sure that you save this in your image folder inside Maya, so wherever you saved your Maya folder. So I'm going to go to User Storage, that's where I have mine. I'm going to go to Younger, and you want to save it in your images. So images is where you should put all your renders. So I'm going to go ahead and type in table, and press Save. And now that image of my table is in my folder I can use. So I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe and share. Hope you got an A for the day in animation. Keep animating, animators.